like to introduce our keynote, Chuck Nyren. He's a prolific author, speaker, and world-renowned expert on the boomer demographic. Come on, Chuck.
My belt broke on the way over here. And I'm saying that because I've got a clicker and I have a microphone, and I don't know what's going to happen with these pants. But I like doing it is because I think it spurs creativity. You know, you can see these television spots, and you can see the ads, and you might say, gee, you know, we could do something like that. I'm going to aim this very high today because you folks, you know, you're the Zoomers, you're the advertising people. It's not like I have to walk in here and introduce you to this and say, oh, you need to learn all about baby boomers and Zoomers. We're going to go into a time machine. We're going to go back in time. Just come with me, please. Okay, late 1800s and 1920s. This was a time when advertising just started. Anybody could get into it. And the zeitgeist at the time for really the top-notch advertising that was going on, mostly in magazines, was live the rich life. I mean, this is after the war, and people were making money. The advertising industry targeted an actual demographic group outside of just the general audience, and that was young kids. You know, the idea of actually hiring women to write advertising for women is a shocking idea. Class woman, mother of two, writing advertising for middle-class mothers. Strange concept. The late 40s and to early 60s, it changed. Hard sell versus creative and keeping up with the Joneses. You know, you must know something about that. Okay. And the zeitgeist was be hip, be young, and what did they do? This is people when I was that age, and David. They just hired a lot of what we call baby boomers. The 60s and 70s baby boomers and the silent generation championed racial, gender, and cultural inclusiveness. But the blind spot for the last 40 years has been ageism. Be hip, be young is still the zeitgeist, is it not? I mean, that's still what it is, and it hasn't changed in 45 years. What were their ages in 1960? Right in the middle of that period. Yeah, wow, thank you. Wow! Director or an art director is not going to design something they can't see. They're not going to design something that they can't read. It's as simple as that. Look at this ad. This was in a magazine, and I've shown it to people who I used to walk around and show it to people who were over 50, 60 years old. And I said, what do you think of this ad? And I just said that. So they're saying, gee, you know, what does Chuck want to know? And all of them would look at it and say, oh, yeah, soy milk. Yep, yeah, soy milk, soy milk, I don't know. Maybe I'll try some soy milk. I said, did you read the copy over here in the corner? Oh, that, my husband says, why do you drink the stuff? I tell him I plan to date a lot after he's gone. Ha! That's funny. They didn't see it. They never saw it. One person turning the page and looking at this ad, their first response is, huh, hey, that's funny, that's clever. That's really clever. An older person looking at this ad, they turn the page, they go, oh my God, my hands are just like that. So, you know, you have to remember that stuff. For me, an easy to grip handle is not dumbing down. I was here, oh, we have to dumb it down for these old people. You're not dumbing it down. You're making it so they can hold it. It's as simple as that. That's not going to make you a better cook. You know, it's not making cooking simpler. Because we have these big TVs now with these 5.1 speaker setup. Okay, a little bit about the web. Now, I'm not a big fan of the web for advertising, okay? We'll get that off my chest now. I've been around advertising on the web for 20 years, and I just don't think it works very well. It does work in certain situations. It certainly works on a magazine site where you have either a banner ad or you have something that might be sponsored, but it's all the crazy marketing schemes. They're like, I remember when that was the first thing that moved on the web. So I have been around, okay? I do get it. I'm a dinosaur, but I'm a tech-savvy dinosaur. I have the hair conditioner and the shampoo. Same bottle. Same bottle, it looks exactly alike. And when are you going to use it? Well, you're over 50, you're 60, 65, 70 years old. You're in the shower, you don't have your glasses on. So what are they doing? They don't know, they can't, they grab the conditioner and they rub it all over their hair. And they go, oh my God, I'm supposed to put the shampoo on first. This happened all over the place. And then, and also the hand cream. Now again, I wouldn't have any idea if I was putting on face cream or hand cream that I put on the wrong one. But they, ladies, I think you know, right? You would know. This is the other slide that everyone should have. Not because it's the greatest advertisement in the world, but it is, you really should think about this when you're putting together an ad campaign or even when you're analyzing one. How old is that little girl? What do you think? 2, 6.5? 2.5? I don't care. How old is the grandfather? Is he 45? 55? 65? 75? He's whatever age you want him to be. He's whatever age he is when he's looking at the ad. That is important. Think about it. You know, you don't necessarily have to show these people. And when you look at this ad, anybody who's 55, anyone who's 65, they will think it's them.
Perfect age is now.
Age Perfect from L'Oreal Paris.
So are we worth it? More than ever.
Yeah, you have problems with that? I don't think so. Nice one, nice commercial. This is for grandchildren, and that is a huge, huge market. Norway, very down to earth. Of all the magazines I was, and countries I went to, I just liked it. I don't know why. Very down to earth, and it's over 60. It's life over 60, no less. They're not trying to say 40. You know, not trying to say 50. They're saying 60. Good magazine. I don't want to talk about it too much, but as I said, earthy. I think it's an earthy magazine. Here is an ad from that magazine. Would you run that ad here? Maybe. Maybe. It's kind of now, cute. I saw this ad for Crest. You know, it came out maybe 8 years ago. And I looked at it and I said, well, you know, kind of boring. But I kind of liked it. And the reason I liked it was because not only is it factual, which was okay, but it sort of reminded me of ads that I grew up with. You know, very simple ads like this, but it's not retro. It's not trying to say, oh, look, here's an old ad and we're doing it new. That product has gone through the roof. There's like, 10 different toothpastes. And this with a really good commercial. I don't want to say this is the best commercial ever for baby boomers. I don't even want to deconstruct it, but I might say one thing afterwards about it. But just enjoy this. This is pretty much what it is about.
You'll never see me cry.
It's a girl. Oh!
Watching a commercial the other day, and it came on, and this song came on that I hadn't heard in like 45 years, 50 years even. And I said, oh my God, I haven't heard that. Oh my gosh, I used to love that tune. What was that album? He made a great album with all these other tunes. What were they? I have to go look on Amazon and see if I can find that. Of course, the commercials is gone. I have no idea what the product is. And 2 other commercials are gone. So you have to think about that. Just because you're targeting boomers, you don't think the late 60s necessarily. You might think earlier if you want to invoke the type of, response for that. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chuck. If I could get I have just a couple of little things to say about ZoomerU before we send you on your way, and if I could get my little, there we go. I really learned a lot there. I have followed Chuck's career vicariously from a distance, written about him and some of my stuff. I'm David Cravit, by the way. I handle conferences at Zoomer and shows, as well as ZoomerU, which we are relaunching with this event this morning. I'm going to talk to you about it for like 2 minutes. One interesting thing, though, that Chuck did have that sort of came as a surprise to me, which I hadn't thought about before. It's kind of interesting to get Twiggy, who everybody from that generation, or here she is, and certainly it's not novel to have spokespeople who were famous in the past if you're appealing to the Zoomers of today. But one thing I hadn't thought about was to go back into the advertising itself from that bygone era and say, this is the way they were talked to then. How can we use that strategy in our creative today and to actually have older people doing the creative? So Chuck's point about the older people doing really breakthrough advertising and going back and look, what were those campaigns? What did your audience of today, what did they grow up on? And to evoke that in your advertising today, and we'd be happy. This morning's where we have an authority like Chuck to come in and just provoke thinking, show us a whole bunch of different stuff. It was done that way by design. We just want to get the juices flowing. It wasn't the sort of linear, deliberate, this is the only way to do it. So we're gonna be doing that as well.